Hello folks, it's Abfielder and welcome to another Minecraft tutorial. And today's tutorial is on how to create a stackable, toggleable villager farm in Minecraft 1.16 and above. And as you can see, I've already mocked up the design here and got it working. We've got 3 layers on this thing. And with the way villager mechanics work, this thing will chuck out 6 villagers per Minecraft day. If you want to get straight into the block by block tutorial, timestamp for that will be down in the description. Just want to talk about the mechanics of this thing a little bit. So we have 2 villagers per layer. Okay, so we save on the 1 villager that the likes of the Impulse SV design have. The drawback to that is you don't get any excess carrots from this farm. All the carrots are contained within the farm. I have created 3 separate kind of pods off the side of these things. 2 contain the pods for the working villagers, and then the 3rd one with the 3 beds in is for the baby villagers to breed. Now, to make this stackable, the one thing I learned, and you can actually see the baby villager there jumping up and down on the bed. I was having trouble making this stackable, and that's because I was making the ceilings too high, which is absolutely fine in the farm area. But for a bed to count as valid, so that the villagers can breed, there must be 2 air blocks above it. So yeah, once I figured that out, it actually became fairly simple to make it stackable. So how does this design work? Well, when you build it, what you need to do is stick your 2 new villagers in, your 2 farmer villagers in, make sure they claim those 2 beds, the 2 orange beds on each layer, before you then place in the purple beds. That will also help with making it toggleable, i.e. turning it off, stopping them breeding. Because what you'll do is at night, the 2 farmer villagers will go into their separate pods, and then on the left hand side of the screen where you can just see this redstone tower, you can just flick a lever and it'll push a block out, and then they can't see each other, they will not breed. Now, you might be wondering, how reliable is this farm? Do the baby villagers always go down the hole? Well, I have tested this thing for hours, okay, and I've yet to have a villager stick. There you go, they eventually go there. They actually go there during the day and at night. So there's 2 reasons that the baby villagers go towards the bed. One is they really enjoy jumping up and down on it, and the second one is, of course, they need to sleep. So I've yet to hit a scenario where they do not fall down that hole. And there we go, I'm just showing you how you can toggle that off so the blocks come across and now the villagers can't see each other. So yeah, it appears to be 100% reliable, and I say appears to be because I do wonder if when you're playing normally and you're coming in and out of the chunks, loading and unloading the chunks and what have you, if there is a potential chance that the baby villager won't drop down in time. There's trapdoors that prevent the fully grown villagers dropping down, but I have not seen that. So up to this point it is 100% reliable. And I suppose the other question you might want to ask is, can I make this farm smaller? And the answer to that question is yes, you probably can. So if you don't want to be able to turn the farm on and off, you don't mind that the villagers are breeding constantly, then you could get rid of one of the sleeping pods, put 2 beds in one of them and cut off one side of that. That's one way to make it smaller. You could potentially get rid of 1 or 2 of the purple beds, and that would still work. The farm area itself, I wouldn't recommend making smaller. So for these villagers to breed, they need 12 carrots each, okay? So they are chucking out 2 villagers each per day. They tend to breed once in the morning and once at night. So to do that, they need 48 carrots per day to breed. This farm should give you that amount. Any less than that amount with the farm, then you probably aren't going to be able to reliably keep up to 2 villagers per day. So keep that in mind when you're wondering if you can make this smaller. Last question you might want to ask is, how many layers can you put on this thing? And the answer is going to be quite a lot. So as you can see, I put 3 layers on this thing. It's breeding reliably. I have stood back from this by about 100 blocks just to see if the villagers still move around and breed, and they do. So on the Z coordinate I moved 100 blocks away and still got villagers out of this thing. So you should be able to stack this up fairly high. I mean 8 layers and you'll still be breeding, I think. No problems on all the layers. So yeah, I think with all that said, I think I've covered all the mechanics of this. I think it's time to jump into the block by block tutorial. Okay, and this farm is 19 blocks by 23 blocks. So if you want to count that with me, it's 19 on this side. And I'll just go back for you. And then it's 23 on the long side. I'll scoot up the view in a minute so you can pause the video and count that manually if you want to. Okay, let me head up here. Alright, 19 by 23. Like I say, feel free to pause the video if you need to. Okay, now on the side with 23 blocks, counting 10, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And place down a building block of your choice. I am using glass. And make this 5 wide. Okay, and then off these sides you want to make that 6 in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. This is where the beds go to help with your villager breeding, so place in your 3 beds like that. And then you can knock out some blocks like so. We'll just knock down 2. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Place in your trapdoors. This is so the baby villagers think they can get to it. And that's the first area done. Okay, now off the corner here, if you imagine there's 3 blocks over the first level of that hole, we want to do 5 diagonal, like so, and then a 3, so then a 5 again, like that, and you should end up on the edge of your marked out area. So 5 on the diagonal, then another 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one already there is 5. On the sides, we need to create villager areas, and I have done that slightly wrong. So off the 3 there, yeah, ignore me, let me start that again. So come off the diagonal there, so you end up with a 3 by 3 area. I am going to go over the top, you can punch out a block there, so you end up with the area for the villager to sleep, and same on the other side. So you end up with the 3 by 3 area. I'll come up over the top of this now because this is the layout for the entire farm going forwards, like all the stackable layers. So there you go, that's the shape you're after. Feel free to pause the video now and then resume when you're ready. Okay, assuming you've done that, you now need to make this pretty high. Like I said, I'm using glass blocks. You don't necessarily have to use glass blocks, you can use a building block of your choice. So we'll go make this 3 high and then we'll come back. Okay, next thing we want to do is just take out these beds. So we want to get the villagers in and we want to make sure they claim the correct beds. So we're going to put some trapdoors in here as well, because before we put the villagers in, we don't want them falling down that hole. So on the top of the second block. Okay, go into your side pods, put down your bed, put down your composter, and put a light source above the composter. Stops them walking on it, and it'll also stop any mobs spawning in that area. Definitely don't want that. Don't want any zombies spawning. Alright, and now the next thing I recommend you do is get your villagers in. What you want them to do is claim those 2 beds. Alright, and it's night time here, so it's going to be nice and quick for me, but I recommend you do wait until they claim them. Cool, and then we can get on with this now. Okay, and this step is completely optional, but if you want to be able to turn this farm on and off, knock out the glass block to one of these pods, place in a sticky piston, and then replace your glass block, and we'll do the redstone on that later. This is just if you want to turn the breeding on and off. We can go ahead and replace in those beds that we just took out, because these beds have now been claimed, so it should all work okay. Right, next thing to do is the water source block, so counting 3, so it should be the centre of the diagonals. Place in your water source, you can cover it up with a glass block. Again, centre 1, and it should match up with the one over there. Water source, temporary block, cover your water source, knock out your temporary block. Same on all 4 corners. And final corner. There we go. Knock it out. And then we need to find a centre block. Punch it out, stick your water source in, and then just stick a lily on the top like so. So you'll have 5 water sources in total. Okay, now you need to till all the land. So take your netherite hoe, which you obviously have, but any hoe will do. Go ahead, till that all, and then you need to plant it all up with carrots. I think potatoes and beetroot will work, but I generally use carrot. You don't have to plan it all up if you haven't got enough carrots to do that. The villagers will do it eventually, as long as you've tilled the land for them, but it will take some time for the farm to get up and working if you do not. So here we go, I've gone in, got all the carrots in, should look like so when we're done, and we're actually on the home straight for layer 1, which got to put the ceiling in. Okay, and for the farm part, it can be a too high gap, so place some blocks over the top of your trapdoors, and then you need to cover up your entire floor. We'll put the light sources in a moment. Over here we can put one in the gap there, like so, that's okay. Like I say, just go ahead, do the same on the other side as well. I'll just show you there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill this all in. Okay, it's all filled in, so grab your light source in, and then on the 3 sides come in 1 block, so like so, so you've got a gap, punch out the block and stick in a light source. On all 4 sides, so on your second block in, punch out, put your light source in. Same on this side, and it'll be next to your trapdoors there. Okay, on the diagonal goes where your water source is, skip that 1 diagonal block, so you're on the second diagonal block, put your light source in. Same on all 4 corners, find your water source, skip 1 on the diagonal, so you're on the second diagonal, put your light source in. Alright, and then over where your water source is in the middle, punch out that block, stick in a light source, and if I exit the farm, I will give you a bird's eye view of what it looks like and should make it a little bit easier for you. Here we go. There you are, and that's what it should look like from up above. Okay, now we need to do the ceilings over the villager pods, and these need to be 3 high, so there's a 2 block gap above the beds, so do it like follows. And that will give you your 3 high ceiling, and same on the other side. This is for the villager pods where they sleep, the farmer ones. Okay, so it'll be symmetrical at this point. And then over at this one where the purple beds are, we want to make sure we don't cover up the gap. Unless it's the top floor, you need the 2 wide gap for the subsequent layers that you put on top. So it'll kind of look like that. And then we can just go ahead and fill that in. Like so. And then over here we can surround that so we have that 2 block gap. And then now it's up to you, you don't actually need to fill this in completely. If you don't want to, you could just go around the side, but I am going to fill this in, so this ceiling is essentially a 2 block high ceiling. Like that, and then that will form the basis for layer 2 of this farm. Okay, and then I've gone ahead and placed in the dirt like so. Feel free to pause the video at this point in, place the dirt exactly as it looks below, and then we just need to surround that dirt with the building block of our choice and do the water sources. Okay, so the water sources are slightly different, so let's just grab a trapdoor. Make sure we've got all the blocks we need for this, and just line up with the layer below and grab your trapdoor. So find the water source on the corner. Now surround that block you've got there with 2 trapdoors like so, knock it out, stick your water source in, and do the same for all 4 sides. Get your trapdoors, not there, and stick in your water source. Like I say, all 4 sides. And at this point, the farm, or this layer, is utterly identical to the layer below. There are no differences, so you can just go back in this video and follow layer 1, and then you can do that for as many layers as you need. I will go ahead, of course, and just very quickly skip through this and show you how to do it, but place your water source in the center, stick your lily block in, and over here you want to stick in your temporary trap doors on both sides so the villager will fall down. Okay, I've gone in, stuck my 3 high glass. I can stick in my temporary beds because I've stuck in the villagers already, and they have claimed those orange beds, as you can see. I forgot the trapdoors at the top of the second block, like so. Like I say, this is utterly identical to the layer below, so if you're struggling here, just go ahead and rewind the video and copy layer 1, and we're kind of done. You might want to put your sticky piston in if you wanted to make the farm toggleable. You want to turn it on and off, so you just knock that out, stick a sticky piston in and put the glass block back. But that is it, folks, for this. So we're going to skip in. I'm going to show you one idea of what to do with the villagers, the baby villagers when they drop down, and also the redstone tower to turn this thing off. And okay, so let's do the drop chute for the villager or the baby villagers. So I would drop down off the bottom layer 5 to 7 blocks. You want to get them out of range of the village as quick as possible. So I'm going to drop down 2 more, so that will be 7 in total. I'll cover that up for a second. Drop in a water source. They don't hurt themselves when they fall down, just in one corner, and then in the opposite corner you can do something like this. Now you don't have to do it exactly like this, you can do what you want. You could drop them into just a 3x3 area and have them picked up by minecarts or whatever. You can use water streams to take them away, do what you want. In this one I am just going as far away from the village as possible so I don't interfere with the villager count, so everything will carry on breeding. But if you've dropped 7 blocks, that should be enough. Alright, and then I'm just going to create a 3x3 area here just for the villagers to languish. You don't want them to die from entity cramming. So this will give us plenty of space. Just going to drop down 2 blocks again so they don't try and go back up the chute or anything, although they will struggle with the water. And you can kind of ignore this bit, I'm just digging up to the surface just so I can see my villagers. And that's it for transporting the villagers. Like I say, I'll leave that up to your very capable hands. Alright folks, and then it's just these pistons. So one idea for this is you can just stick levers on every individual piston. If you just want to toggle certain layers, that is perfectly valid. Just stick a ladder up to the side of them, you'll be able to reach them. But if you want to be able to do all layers in one go, turn this thing off when the villagers are in bed. Place a block down, 1 gap away, and a redstone torch on the back, and then a redstone torch on layer 1 will toggle that. And then you can just put a lever on it, and there you go, you're controlling that. Then it's just a redstone tower up to the top, so redstone lamp and then a block and all the way up. Now this farm, the layers cause a slight problem, so they're not going to be the same on every layer, how you transfer this signal across, so you're going to need to be a little bit creative here. So one way you could do this for layer 2 is like so, a redstone lamp on the side, powering a block above it, and that will work. Another way you could do layer 2 is if we, let's toggle this off in a second. Okay, so another way we could do layer 2 is let's take out that block and take out that lamp we put in. Place a block off the side and a bit of redstone dust off that lamp. That will control layer 2. But this changes with every single layer what you will have to do. There's going to be 2 or 3 solutions that you need to do to get the correct signal in. So if we head over to the 3 layer farm, I'll show you what I mean on layer 3. We've had to use a repeater off the lamp below to get the right signal into the block. So yeah, just have a look at what I've done there. Those 3 solutions should be enough for you to work out what to do with your subsequent layers. But that, folks, is that. You can go ahead, place as many layers on this thing as you want. Like I say, the villagers breed in the morning and at night, so as long as they have a good supply of carrots, which they should, with this design, you will get 2 villagers per pod per day. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and if you'd like to see more of my content, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I am on Twitter, abfieldermc, if you want to keep up to date with my new videos, and when I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/abfielder. Links will be in the description. But for now, folks, that is all we have time for. I'm Abfielder. Goodbye.